Okay, we'll call this meeting to order and stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and all members are present except for Lisa Killian and Tracy Rankin. And adoption of the agenda, including supplemental personnel. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we adopt the agenda, including the supplemental personnel.
Second.
Okay, Jeff has, made the motion. Ryan seconded. All in favor? 5-0. 1, 2, 3, 5. Count that. Okay, sorry. Okay, and Tracy wasn't able to be here tonight, but she texted and said that she'd reviewed the bills and said she didn't find any problems. So did anybody else have questions? No? Do I have a motion?
A motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Okay, a motion by Brian and a second by Ryan. All in favor? 5-0. All right. There's no special presentations tonight. And do we have any of the students? Oh, well, we hope they come because we have a little special something for them. So if
What if they don't make it? We could send it with their principals before they leave tonight. We've got a little gift for each one of the student council representatives, okay?
Darn, I had a little speech and everything.
Yeah.
All these nice little cards. All right. Okay, recognition of visitors. Persons may present ideas or concerns regarding USD 443 schools. No action will be taken by the board at this meeting. Personalities and behavior of employees are not to be presented during this period, but are to be reported to the employee's immediate supervisor. The president shall determine the amount of time to be spent for citizen participation. Is anybody? All right, don't see anybody going over. Okay, and on the consent agenda is approval of personnel, including the supplemental personnel report, approval of minutes for April 25th, 2016 Board of Education meeting, approval of Building Blocks Early Childhood Library Grant Acceptance Award, Northwest and Will Roads, approval of the 2016-2017 Elementary Student Handbook revisions, approval of the 2016-2017 Middle School Student Handbook, and then approval of non-discrimination statement. Does anybody have any questions about any of those? Okay, I have a motion.
I move their approval.
Okay, a motion made by Barbara and a second by Brian. All in favor? 5-0. All right, we're on to new business. So curriculum and instruction.
Good evening, members of the board and Superintendent Cunningham. On page 28 of the agenda, you'll see that we have board consideration form. This is for the renewal of the 3-year instrument funding. We have a plan that's been in effect since about 2006, where we've been renewing 3-year increments at $165,000. This is continuing the exact same amount that we've been doing it in years past, and it is, considering that costs tend to only go up, this is showing they're making good fiscal decisions in order to maintain that. If you look at the board consideration, you'll see the numbers of the percentages of our students. The 82% of our students in our district use the own instruments, district school-owned instruments, and currently 56% of band students use school-owned instruments. So given our demographics, the struggles that many of our kids have to face financially, this is a very important aspect of our band program. So we hope that you will move to approve the renewal of the 3-year instrument plan. Any
Had a great talk with Jason Richens, and he was talking about his increase, that the pre-enrollment for band next year was up, and I think that's terrific. I think they do a great job. I would make the motion to approve the purchase of the musical instruments.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion by Jeff and a second by Ryan. All in favor? 5-0.
Thank you.
He did say that band camp would weed a few of them out, though.
Well, now that you brought it up, just out of curiosity, what's the numbers? Do you
I
have any
think he was
idea?
up, he told me about 30 to 35 students. Yeah.
30.
That's just in the, just in the high school, yeah. What's the participation in the middle schools?
They're increasing. They're having a hard time even scheduling them into classes. I can't remember.
Cool. And I know my oldest daughter's entering middle school next year. She'll be participating in band, so I'm excited. I think it's great.
Good stuff.
Okay, Ray.
Okay, good evening, board members, Mr. Superintendent. On page 29, you will find the consideration sheet for my part this evening. And my part is to ask permission to upgrade the computers for the MIE systems. I'm not sure I can answer all your questions, but there's people here that can if you have any. The MIE system have a keyboard and a computer that handles things, and there's a separate little box. As you can see, the computers are over the limit, so we have to get permission from you. These computers will handle things for the next 10 years. That's my understanding, that there's meetings across the districts, and it was turned around several ways before it was decided to upgrade and go in that direction. So as you can see, we're asking for 14 Mac computers. They're really powerful machines that'll handle things, and if MIE goes away, they'll be able to be transferred to the high school for the CTE program and used in manners like Photoshop and graphic design and stuff like that. So we're asking you, if there's no question, we're asking for your permission and approval for those machines.
I'll move.
Okay. Second. Okay, a motion by Ryan and a second by Brian. All in favor? 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Okay, public information.
Yvonne is ill this evening, so she just asked me to remind you about graduation. It's my understanding that all 7 board members plan to be there. We would ask, since graduation begins at 10:30, we ask you to meet no later than 10:15 on the northeast end of the arena. We'll all be out there with board members and central office administration, and we will all precede the graduates entering the arena. So be there at 10:30 or walk up on the stage by yourself. Okay? All right. That's all about for that one.
All right. Oh, Susan, she's already up there.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Here we go.
Madam Vice President, Board of Education members, Superintendent Cunningham. Majority of the information I'm going to present tonight includes the first reading on the following handbooks for the 16-17 school year: Classified Staff Development Guide, the Classified Employee Handbook, the Substitute Teacher Handbook, and the District Safety Handbook. Judy's going to jump up here at the end. Also included on my consideration sheet was information about PDC Guide, and she and Glenn are the administrative reps there, so she'll handle that here in just a few minutes. Consideration sheet, we're on page 30, and then the actual handbook revisions are start on page 97 in your packet. Starting first with the Classified Development Council Handbook. Again, I'm going by pages in your packet. On page 98, updated the duties of the chairperson of the CDC as they actually represent practice. The couple duties that have the strike-through listed there are actually the responsibility of Yolanda Teben, who's the district record secretary, who handles agenda and minutes for both CDC and PDC. On page 99 of your packet, deleting the information about the standing committees. For as long as I've been in the district, the last 6 years and probably a few years prior to that, Classified Development Council has not had functioning standing committees, so felt like that information really wasn't pertinent. The CDC group takes care of that as a function. And actually, as I was reviewing for the meeting tonight, for the final reading at the next board meeting, I would like to include language to that effect that The Classified Development Council will, by the regularly scheduled meeting in April, determine any needed handbook revisions. These recommendations will be presented to the administrative cabinet representative from CDC to the Board of Education for consideration and approval for the upcoming school year. And I apologize for not making that clearer at the beginning, but I would like that included for the final reading. On page 100 of your packet, the emphasis there in the red, just for employees' attention, so that they get all of their completions, submissions completed by the end of the school year. And then on pages 101 and 102 in your packet, at the end of the handbook, to add the district non-discrimination statement. Questions about that handbook? For the classified employee handbook, and again, now on page 104 in your packet, that is just updated information there on page 104. On page 105, changed the wording there a little bit as we changed our application process this last October to the applicant portal. Again, updating that information just matches what our current practice is with our online application process. Page 106, at the beginning of this school year, my office, with the help of Ray's office, all of the classified evaluations are now completed and signed electronically. There are no paper classified evaluations for the principal, supervisor, or the employee to handle, unless, again, as indicated, the employee does request a copy of a paper copy for their files. And again, so that information just reflects current practice. Page 107, in the middle, the information in red. Again, this is updated information with the beginning of this school year regarding the Affordable Care Act as it applies to benefits and the assignment of benefits. At the bottom of the page, that page 107, updating the reference of the bloodborne pathogen exposure control plan. We're going to talk about it here in just a minute when we get to the district safety handbook. And then on page 109, starting with December, the Christmas holiday 2014, and then the spring holiday, Easter holiday 2015. Again, changing the language in the handbook to match the actual practice. The practice of assigning leave, as it's indicated there on page 109, this replaces the classified employees having the option to carry over unused sick leave bank days, or excuse me, I said sick leave bank. This replaces the option of the classified employees to carry over unused vacation days past June 30th. This was a consensus agreement between the classified advisory council and the board a year ago. Page 110 to 112, again, we're just updating information from the buildings. And page 113 in your packet, again, adding at the end of the handbook the district non-discrimination statement. Questions with the classified employee handbook? Okay, moving to the substitute teacher handbook. Again, in your packet, pages 116 to 119, updating information, again, from buildings. Page 120, we are editing to match practice there as far as when or if substitutes request being deleted off the list, or when and if they are removed. Page 121, again, updating information with Ramona Buckner coming in, and page 122, again, adding the non-discrimination statement at the end of the handbook. Questions there? Okay, the district safety handbook. About this time a year ago, when we were reviewing handbooks, we discovered that there were references in multiple handbooks, and as an example, the classified employee handbook that said, a copy of the district bloodborne pathogen plan is available at training sessions from the school nurse, the learning center, or from the human resources office, and nobody had a clue what that plan was or if it even existed. So one of the last things that Corey Hernandez from KFSA worked on with myself and the classified supervisors was developing a bloodborne pathogen exposure control plan. We got it done, finished it up before Christmas time, and so this seemed to be the appropriate time then to get it inserted into the district safety plan. Questions about that?
I was just curious, why were the Boy Scouts specifically mentioned in the discrimination?
Glenn can handle that better than I can.
In 2010, an act was made, Boy Scouts were specifically made to be identified for all schools receiving title money from the federal government. So you'll see the Boy Scouts added, and in the language portion, the English cannot discriminate from programs is a CTE according to the Perkins Act. So those two federal monies require those inserts for school districts that have those programs and receive those funds. If you didn't have them, you wouldn't have to put it in. That's why you'll not see it in other places.
Okay.
It was an act specifically for the Boy Scouts that prohibited you from being able to discriminate against them using public facilities to meet. So
And
it has to be listed because we're Title I school district.
Okay.
Okay? Sorry.
Clear as mud.
Thank you.
And I'm sure there's some other program that requires something else be listed that we don't know about yet. But I'm sure one day we'll find out.
Okay.
The other piece of information this evening, if you will find in your folders, you have two sheets that are titled USD 443 current certified vacancies as of April 20th of 2016, and then current vacancies as of May of 2016. Alan just asked me to update you where we are at in hiring of certified staff for the 16-17 school year. Again, the really good news is just a month ago, we had 21 vacancies listed for positions, and as of the middle of the afternoon today, we have 13. There has been an offer extended to one of the secondary positions that are listed on that May 16th list. Hopefully, maybe here in the next day or two, I will just say, hopefully we'll hear in the next day or two that the candidate has accepted that position. We had elementary classroom interviews last week, continue to schedule interviews this week, and at minimum, I would expect one or two of those elementary positions to come off as filled positions, hopefully yet this week as well. So,
Susan, would you explain the abbreviations, the T and the LTS?
oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Again, same as we talked about off of the April list, the abbreviations transfer the same. T means that is a current employee and that they are transferring to another, they are not leaving the district, but they're transferring to another position here in the district. And then LTS is our abbreviation for someone who's in a long-term sub position. And typically for us, long-term sub extends about, at least 12 weeks or beyond, so almost a semester or beyond.
How's your pool of candidates been?
I'm sorry?
How has your pool of candidates been?
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This time of year, it's getting slimmer.
Right.
So, but up until this point, I mean, we have been talking to folks all along. There hasn't necessarily been a lull where we haven't had someone to visit with.
Right. Okay.
But it is going to get slimmer.
And according to statute, teachers have until June 1st this year?
June 1st.
June 1st this year to notify us that they're not coming back. It used to be about 2 weeks earlier than that, but that was changed a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I also just wanted to review real quickly, and again, I think I shared some of this information with you last month regarding student teachers in the district beginning next fall. We have 8 elementary student teachers assigned to us from Newman University, and we've already signed 2 of those to offer letters beginning January 5th of 17. From Fort Hays, we have 2 elementary. Actually, both of them will have dual certification, elementary as well as a middle school content area. And we've already signed one of those to an offer letter beginning January 5th of 17. From K-State, we have 2 elementary and 2 secondary assigned. We've already signed one of those to an offer letter for January 5th. And from KU, we have 1 student teacher assigned to the secondary level, actually out at Dodge City High School. So just wanted to let you know that I'm very pleased with those numbers. Those are the highest numbers that we have had student teachers from multiple universities since I have been here. So very pleased to see that universities are reaching out to us. And again, certainly Judy's work with K-State has helped that as well, particularly at the elementary level.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing. I did want to say this is my last board meeting, and just to thank you as a board, and Alan in particular, for the opportunity to serve. It's been a privilege, and I wish continued success to you all and to the district.
Thank you. Good luck.
There are 2 additions to the Professional Development Committee's handbook for the certified. One of them is just a non-discrimination statement that you've been hearing about for the past few weeks. The second one deals with a prior approval professional development request form, which is a mouthful there. But you will be hearing more and more about how professional development is changing. With online and the access to the internet, there are many things that teachers can go out and learn about. So as the committee, we wanted a way to know that we were giving points to things that fit within the guidelines here of USD 443. So Kara Huck also was going out and teaching different things with technology according to the needs of the different schools when they requested something that they wanted to know. So that was the reason that the committee decided that they needed a request form, so we would know up front with prior approval from the administrator that the activity was approved, and then it would come through the committee. And so that's found on the intranet page on the left-hand side where it says professional development. You click on it. If there's a group of teachers that want to go out and work together to earn points, or if somebody like one of the instructional coaches or a principal is doing a professional development activity that they feel deems points need to be awarded to the teachers, they would fill this form out. So that's the reason we added the form to the handbook this year.
That's cool.
Okay, questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Business service bill. Got good stuff?
Yes, this evening, what was that?
Good stuff on the buses?
It is good stuff on the buses.
Okay.
What I might say that we've basically done this year, there was one change in the driver handbook that we recommended, and that was that our current policy is that if anybody has any violations at all, we basically say goodbye to them. And what we discovered is we'd had some people who had been with us and driving buses for a number of years, and they had a very, very minor violation. We felt very comfortable with them, but by our policy, we had to say goodbye. And bluntly, we felt much more comfortable with that person than we would maybe somebody hiring that we really haven't had experience with.
Absolutely.
So the whole purpose of this discussion tonight really is on page 146, where we're kind of making that a little more open. We're basically giving some discretion to our Director of Transportation to evaluate situations. This doesn't mean if somebody has a DUI or a serious violation, we're going to keep them. That is not the intent of this at all. It's really just to say that the policy as was written before, we think may have lost us or cost us a couple of good bus drivers. So this is the purpose of that. Now, I made the mistake, or I won't say I made the mistake, but in always sending these things, I always like to send them through Brad Ralph because he looks at them through an attorney's eye. And as he got a hold of this, he did a little updating for us. And there's really nothing of substance, but he did clean up a lot of the language and bring it into, quote, correct legalese. So the rest of the revisions here are really Brad Ralph doing some editing on the policy. We don't think there's anything of substance with that. But that is what this is about. And if there are any questions, I'll try to address it, and if you don't have any questions, we'll bring it back to you at the next board meeting and finalize it.
Hey, Bill, just one thing, you said there was some discretion at the Director of Transportation.
Yes.
Where does it state that?
Well, it's just the way that it's worded, and I'm trying to think how the.
And I know you won't see the exact wording, but
Basically, it was something that Brad put in. It's a matter that it's not an automatic termination. It gives us the ability, it can be done, and I'm trying to remember, boy, it's been a month since I worked on this. Pay violations.
Is it on page 145?
It is subject to termination. It doesn't say they have to be terminated. That's the difference, as I understand it, Jeff. A bus driver is subject
What
to
page is
termination
that?
of employment on conviction of being in
146.
situations 1 and 2.
146.
Yeah, on number 2.
Yeah, and then it says the provisions of this section do not limit circumstances or
may
actions for
be
which it
suspended.
may be terminated. So that's Brad Ralph's way of doing what we think we've accomplished.
Okay.
And if you've got questions about that, I'll be happy to go back to the source and.
Okay. I'll trust Brad's legal.
Absolutely. So anyway, the second thing this evening, if I might, you did mention buses. We did ask for approval to trade 2 buses in, and today I authorized sending out an amendment to that bid request. We're going to back it off about a week. My mother had a saying as I was growing up, "Don't blow a gasket." You're all too young to remember that kind of terminology, but that was one thing she said. We had a bus that blew a gasket this weekend, and it wasn't one of the ones we're going to trade in, so our intent is to change one of the buses we're going to trade in to the bus that blew a gasket and move it up a year and move another one back down a year. So I just wanted you to be aware there will be a change on that when you get the bus bids in.
Okay. As a book.
Okay. Finally, this evening, it's my pleasure to introduce to you, as you know them both, Tom P. Montgomery of GLMV Architect, who's going to review the plans, and also Ryan Rowley. And I just want to make a note, Ryan has been very specific. We are not to a guaranteed maximum price yet. We are still in the process of developing the projects, and Tom will explain where we are in all these. But it seems like we find some things that we can do a little better and save some money. Then we find some things, oops, that should have been in there. It cost us money, but we're in that process. But he's going to kind of give a little update on that. But this is not a guaranteed max price. So this is not final, but it's really a work in process. Now, did I say that correctly? Okay, I was worried about that one. So I'll turn it over to Tom and Ryan. Thank you.
Well, it's been about, a couple months since we had a chance to visit. And so this is going to be an update of what we've been doing, working on the projects. Just to mention, we were out last week, we had a team out doing actually a final construction review on Len Beeson, Will Roads, and Sunnyside, and also met with the high school staff on kind of a design development review. All the projects are now in different stages of completion. We have construction documents going on in many of the projects. We have design development, which is the precursor to construction documents. And so I'm going to review the projects. And since I met with you last, we've had a few changes. I think that you all went through and approved, and I want to review with you how those impact the building. But I'm going to go through each one of these. I have a site plan and a floor plan to kind of give you an update. And this week we're going to be out also. We have meetings on Northwest, Miller, and also Dodge City Middle School, and those will be design development meetings. So I'll go through this. If you have any questions, just kind of chime in. First, I'm going to start with Will Roads. Will Roads is still the same project, and what we have primarily is we have the expansion of the kitchen, and also we have a new cafeteria which will serve as a storm-protected area. During this project, it became pretty evident that our initial thoughts about kind of expanding slightly and remodeling the kitchen just wasn't going to work. So we really have an expanded kitchen with new equipment, and actually, as a safety factor, relocated to a new cooler freezer unit here, so we have another exit out of this multi-purpose room. Right now, we just had pretty much an exit this way and this way, nothing on this side of the building. So that worked out pretty good. But this project right here, pretty much the same context, we just had a little bit of an increase on the kitchen. As you see this going under construction, this is one of the projects that we are in final construction documents that You see the precast concrete panels be going up soon after it gets priced, probably sometime in June. But the red here is the new addition, all the blue is what the existing would be. This is the site plan of Will Roads. In addition to the project, we have an expanded paved area with parking to the north. Also have some sidewalks, new sidewalks that takes us for deliveries to the kitchen, as well as a new drive and additional parking here. So we have 16, 18 parking stalls here on this side of Will Roads. And this is the drawing done by the civil engineer. So this is the project, like I said, it's in the kind of the final construction documents. The next one is kind of Lynn and Beeson together, essentially the same project. We have about a 4,500 square foot addition and 2 music rooms, a storage, very much the same concept we had before. One of the changes we made a special ed room located here. This was one earlier looking as an MIE room with further discussion with music staff. That this might be served better as a special ed room. We also have 2 staff toilets, and then also have an access for toilet off of one resource room. One of the schools, I think it was in Beeson, that this is actually used as also a special ed, so we have an access toilet right there. But this area right in here is going to be what we call the hardened area. It's actually poured in place concrete walls, concrete roof, and steel structure. So I really doubt if it's going to blow away. So I think it's going to be there for a long time. As we look at the site plan, and this is both for Lynn and Beeson, we're going to add, we looked at adding another sewer line here to connect it to the existing sewer. One thing we noticed that, there's just a lot of room here on the west end of both Lynn and Beeson. And if future expansion ever wanted to happen, it just made good sense to add another sewer line, a little depth to accommodate that. When the original building was built, it was pretty much thought that not much more expansion would happen on this end. So this allows a lot of flexibility for future expansion. We have new sidewalks and the lights. So you can see with the red, there's a new addition, and with the blue areas, this is with the existing building, and within this area is where the storm protected area would be. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is Beeson, much the same, with a little different configuration of sidewalk, but same sanitary sewer, same size of addition. Sunnyside. Sunnyside is another school that we're in final construction documents on. One we met last week with staff. And this one, the up sheet is north, and this includes an addition, about 5,000 square feet in here, roughly, with 3 kindergarten rooms, with the provision for a 4th kindergarten in the future, if it be so desired by this board or future boards. Also, we have a storage, we have toilets, office in here. It was thought that with staff, classrooms being this far away from the main office, that office complex would be of advantage to have it here. So we have an office here for up to 2 people. We have an entrance right here. They could take you into, and I'll show you a site plan in a second. I might mention, too, that in all the schools, in Will Roads, Lynn, Beeson, and also Sunnyside, we do have the protected or the secured vestibule located here, to where we have the school guard glass, which the intruder resistant glass here that will have security, where people will stop here and be buzzed in from the office before they go into the school. Once this is in place, no one will be able to enter the schools, any of the schools anywhere, without going through the main office. And they have to go through this location at Sunnyside into here, both on Lynn and Beeson, into their main entrance in here. And then also at Will Roads would be located right in here. This location, the main entry, and we'd have what we call a secure glass, a school guard glass, right at the main entry. In this case, in Lynn, we'll have it here and also here. So it makes it very difficult for somebody to come into the building. So if you look at Sunnyside for the site, we are expanding this parking out to the west. We have where traffic can come, have drop-off, and circle on around and go back out onto Sunnyside Avenue. And you can see the additional concrete sidewalks, and then another entry into this point, or actually the school let out could be at this point. Also allows us access from the Ks from this point into the playground area directly from the rooms. So we think this area worked out pretty good. Also on Sunnyside, in addition to the secure entry, we are having a handicap ramp to this point. One thing this building really lacks right now is really an ADA access from the parking lot all the way to the main entrance, and that's what we're achieving with this improvement of the concrete right now. So those 4 buildings, Lynn Beeson, Sunnyside, Will Roads, those are the ones that we're finalizing the documents, going to get those to Ryan Hutton, do their final pricing, and look at the construction start in June. Next project is Miller Elementary. In the red, you can see the new additions, and very much the same that we had before. We're on the up on the left, we have the addition of classrooms, we have toilets expansion, we have a special ed room located here. But this area right in here is your storm-protected area again. The blue area is pretty much existing. We do have remodel work in here with the administration for offices, the music room, and where we have administration, that's going to become a classroom, remodeled to a classroom. And then have a teacher's workroom located here, special ed room. These toilets stay the same. But in this area, we have this access in through here. This is another storm-protected area, size for first grade and kindergarten. So we'll be able to get to 200 kids in this area in case of a storm. We have the cafeteria. We have a new kitchen, full kitchen service, and of course we have the gymnasium here, and we have a stage right there. The gymnasium and the cafeteria, there's a 30-inch difference from one floor level to the other. It gives us a little stage opportunity for the cafeteria. You can see the ramp that goes down, takes it out to the playground. Again, in this one, we have the secured vestibule with reception. That's control of people coming in. This is the intruder glass, what we call the security glass. And so they cannot go anywhere beyond this point without the reception letting them in. This is the site. It may be hard to see, but this is the outline of the building. One thing we're looking at on this site is that we do have to do stormwater control. So this out here in the playground, we have to put some stormwater piping. And essentially what it does is slow down in the event of a rain. Water will be collected, go into the storm piping, and slow it down before it goes to the south in the street. And that's one of the requirements, for a site like this. Also, this is we plan for probably a future parking. We'll see how the prices come out. Maybe we could increase the parking, off-street parking for Miller. I think it's a good opportunity. But for right now, we're not quite sure we have the budget for that at this point. And then we do have, we'll be improving the road for truck access into the kitchen. Trucks will be back from this point to the kitchen for food service delivery. So all the food product delivery right in here to this kitchen point. So overall, that's the overall site for Miller. Again, this project is design development. We're going to be out this Thursday, doing some fine-tune with principals and staff on all the particulars within their building. Central Elementary is the one that the additional classrooms and other spaces were added to make this a 4-section school. We're getting right back now into this project. But essentially what we have at the main level, we have 4 kindergarten classrooms, with the toilets. We have a new special ed room within this configuration, connected to the building. The blue area is all existing. And the red outline here shows the new gym, new kitchen, cafeteria, music rooms, much like we've showed you before, as well as the public toilets, storage, etc. On the second floor, we're looking at another kind of teacher's workroom up here with staff toilets, and we have classrooms up in this area with also a special ed room. I mentioned also at this location we do have an elevator located right here. It takes us up to this level. This is 2-level, as well as it matches the same level as the existing school. So this will be every bit of a 4-section school. This blank area is actually the gym, the roof area of the gym, and music, et cetera. On the site, with the same orientation, you can see the school, existing school as it is. You can see the size of the proposed improvements with the classrooms, also the proposed improvement with the music room, gym, cafeteria. You can kind of see the amount of area we have here for the site. With the new additions, to the different properties, the board had made to the school site, I think it's really helped a lot. It allowed us to create a nice large playground space, also with the opportunities for some future parking to the south. We have some plan here also for parking right off of Avenue A, for new parking. In addition to the east there, put a new parking area, come right off Avenue A, and exit onto, I believe it's Oak, and parking right here. So we're not only replace the parking that's there at Central, but also add to it. So we'll have more parking on the site now than what they have currently. In this area right in here, this is obviously is a civil drawing, but this is where we're taking the drainage out between the buildings. But this will all be underground. You won't be able to see it in reality, but this is where we're going to have the kindergarten parking playground in this area. And so there'll be a fenced area right in here and close to the kindergarten classroom. So we thought that worked out very good. The next school is Northwest Elementary. This is the plan. We have the 4 classrooms on the end, which is 3 kindergarten and 1 special ed, in addition to toilets and storage. We have a block out, an area right in here that becomes a storm-protected area for this part. So the young students can come in this area for the storm protection. To come to the rest of the school, we'll have an expansion for the office. We also have a large area in here for storm protection, reinforced concrete area in here for storm protection. We'll have an expanded kitchen. We actually have an addition to the kitchen and all new equipment going through here. Cafeteria, the existing gym actually becomes a cafeteria, but actually will stay, like we talked before, will stay as the gym and also serve as a cafeteria. So we're not going to take any square footage out of the current gymnasium. But you can see we have a nice, large gym.
That'll stay as the auditorium, not a gym.
Pardon? Okay.
That'll stay as an auditorium.
Auditorium, yes, right. Yeah.
You see me shake my head.
Yeah, I saw you.
Okay. Sorry, thank you.
Sure. I guess what I meant, we're not changing the floor here, but right, it becomes the auditorium, yes. This is the gymnasium, and like all the gyms, they're a full high school size floor in all the gyms that we're doing. And the lights. So as we look at the site, let's see, okay. I'll look at all the sites in just a minute with all the 3 schools. The next one, let's go to Sewell, then I'll go to the middle school, and I'll show you the entire site. This is Sewell Elementary. In the east, we have a single-level expansion of kindergarten classrooms, first grade, new toilets, and then with a multi-purpose. Then we have a lower level right now yet to be designated, but is a space that will have the services to it and be ready for any type of remodel or improvements to whatever function needs to come. So it'd be a good asset, we think, to the district as we go forward. And as we mentioned, too, there's quite a drop-off in Sewell from this point, to the ditch, and it really is kind of a bonus space. It really is a bonus space at this point. It probably costs more not to put it in than have it, so it makes a lot of sense to do that. I actually got a floor-to-floor of 14 feet from floor-to-floor level, so it's really is gives you a nice, good volume, I think, on this lower level. And also, we'll be putting in an elevator, at least a shaft at this point, and possibly the elevator, depending if we get the access we might need to that lower level. In this particular plan, we have the storm-protected area, essentially right in here, and so that would be a size to serve the entire school. As you look at Dodge City Middle School, and to the right is north. So as we look to the west here, we have a new gymnasium addition with locker rooms on the side. We have one of the changes we made, improvements. We did put a corridor in through here that separates the gym from the locker areas. We we've been working with the different levels. Of course, if you've been in the Dodge City Middle School, like 3 or 4 different levels as you walk through the school, we're able to work it so as we come from this main level and, to this main level, we go down one level, and then all this and through here is all one level. And then we're looking at one level goes down, and this ramp goes down into the rest lane to this area. So instead of 2 or 3 levels, we're going from one level to another level. So I think it's just 2 levels. And that helps us with our grade changes as we go to the south, because this ground really drops off. And it also allows us to direct walk in from the new parking area, as you'll see in a second, right into this to the main entry to the gymnasium. On this side, we have a 2-level 6th grade center, which we have the different classrooms, the makerspace, and the light. On the one side, we're expanding the commons or the cafeteria, also expanding the dishwashing area. On the far end of the 2-story wing, we have a 2-level makerspace, one for each level, one for 7th, one for 8th grade. So we have makerspaces for each grade level in the concept. This area here is not quite right where it's drawn, but we have this area, this vestibule. We have a secured vestibule located in this area. Or again, that's kind of our theme for security. The visitors come in after school begins. They come to the secure area, can't go anywhere else until they're let in by someone from the office. Again, this is the second floor of the middle school. We have the upper level for 6th grade. We actually have access to the upper seating. We have seating for 850 in the gym. We actually have seating that can access from above and also from the floors. So we actually have a kind of a walk-down seating from this level up here, as well as access seating at floor level. Gives us two options there, and also 2 levels of toilets.
I'm just curious, what was the deciding factor? Look, I mean, to the untrained eye, it looks kind of cattywampus. I mean, like, what was the thinking on that?
Well, this particular site, maybe in the site plan I could show you.
Okay.
That's cattywampus here, but let me show you in the site plan, see if it makes sense. As you see, it wasn't the addition was cattywampus, it was the middle school was cattywampus. What we did here, the way the grade works, it works very systematically down this point, and we were aligning this originally with the building, and we were running into all sorts of trouble trying to.
So you're running it parallel with 6th Avenue. Okay, gotcha.
And adds a bunch of parking up there on the north
Right.
side.
And that allows us to push this down and really increase the parking.
Okay, that makes sense.
Otherwise, we were way up in here, and it would cut it up. This is the site that shows all 3 schools. This is Northwest, this is Sewell, and this is Dodge City Middle School.
You're right, the middle school's cattywampus.
And what this shows, I like this plan because it really shows, how we're working on the different parking and how these schools relate. We are doing some widening improvements here for the bus traffic, giving an extra lane here so we can have traffic come and go, and give us another lane for bus drop-off. You can see the additions we're doing to the schools in relationship to the site, as well as to the expanded parking that we're doing here for Northwest. We're looking at this particular plan to really tie this parking into Sewell, so we have more than one way out of this parking. We're not tied, just trying to go right up into Sewell Street right away. We're also in part of Sewell, we're expanding the parking to the east here. And then part of it, as money's provided, we're looking at maybe realigning some of these entrances. I mean, they're not really in the budget now, but a lot of these really didn't really go across another street, and so they create a little bit of an issue in traffic when you have 2 streets across a street or approaches that are not aligned up. But I think this can become a very, very much nicer parking layout with much more capabilities and flows of in and out. Also here with expanded parking with the middle school here, and also retaining the parking that's in here with our bus traffic and pickup and drop off, gives a lot more flexibility in how the buses can stack, and having create this a much easier flow. We think it's going to work out pretty good. This parking stays the same. So you got the parking, you can see about the size of this parking compared to what you have here and here. I think it's going to work out pretty good. I think, for the gymnasium, you got a lot of nice parking up here for this. Still can have access to this parking, but you really have a lot of parking that you're adding to the site that you do not have right now. Okay, going forward, this is the Dodge City High School. Again, this particular plan, we have the two-level academic wing. We have the career and technical education addition that's going on here, includes welding and building trades. Down this way, we have the performing arts addition, and then we have a locker room facility and also a physical education facility addition. Up here shows our locker rooms and also the new PE facility. Storm-protected areas are included right in here on a two-level, also in the locker room areas. Recently, the board approved going to the second level, I think, over the locker room areas. This might be kind of hard to see, but it's going to be, the storm-protected area is going to be about in this location, and we have a little lobby developed here to where, after further review, we think we can get some toilets in there at that level, which I think would also serve the gymnasium, as well as the people with the PE or the locker room or up on the second level. We think toilets right in here would be a real benefit to have that. So that's one thing that we are looking at. It's been discussed that possibly this might be a weight room facility. We were looking into that, but this area right in here is the change, and we are in the process of developing that. Let's see. So we have, with this area as storm protected, this is storm protected, gives us about 7,000 square feet. With these this area here, plus the second floor, gives about another 6,000 feet. So we get about roughly 13,000 feet of storm protected area. Pretty good. Take care of, I think it's a little bit more, but I think it's good. I think the locations are very strategic, so I think it really works very well with that. Here's the second level that shows the same. Here's the site plan. One of the things we've been asked to do and look at is on this, right now, this PE facility is 28,000 square feet. And the ultimate build out for that would be another 80 feet, would take it up to about 44,000 square feet. In the budget right now, per direction of the board, we've already got in there not only expanding the parking, but also taking this road out here along this way, tie it into the parking lot, take it around this way. This ties in very good with the future roads, future parking for this, the track and the football field up here. But this in place leaves us this area right in here with the rerouted for the expansion of that PE facility. And I think it was requested that maybe we get an alternate price on this to see what would it take if the board wanted to, at least to have the dollar amount to see if they will make a decision of expanding the PE facility. Which if you did that, that would be the ultimate size. That's really about as far, where that road is, about as far as you can go with this without going into the pond over here. But this gives you a good overall view of the site, the parking, and all the different improvements. Dodge City High School is going to be quite a facility. Sewer line? Oh, well, okay, we have a sewer line, right, that's going to come out of here and come around, I guess, back around this way. We have a sewer line that comes around this way, and we have we're having a force main that takes it around this way. Force main and gravity takes it around this way to connect and take it on out. Actually, a sewer line kind of runs right out this way, I think. And so we've got that included also. And the force main, the important about the sewer line, it does provide for the future concessions and for any kind of future improvements up here, which is real important. So I think that worked out very well. Anything else I left out? Here's a site with all the grades with the pond. So we want to make sure we stayed out of the pond. So I think everything's going to work out very nice. A couple of the other projects. One is going to be Ross Elementary. This is the one we're going to have the security vestibule located here. The same theme as we have in all schools here and also up here. We are also enclosing a pair of glass doors, a glass enclosure to secure off the kindergarten area. It's been a request by staff. So people coming in don't automatically can run down the corridor there, which houses the kindergarten. Another one, this is Comanche. Again, we're looking at the secure vestibule area controlled by the office, that people coming in to the school after school starts, that's where they stop at that point right there. All of the doors, everything would be locked. Everybody should come through the main entry before they go into the rest of the school. So that's kind of an overview of the projects. I think I've covered all the improvements that the board has made. Any questions do you have?
I just have a question about Sewell. You said the one space is no plans for it at this point?
The basement.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Back at, on Sewell,
Yes?
just tell me, that's all right. I'm waiting for him to get there. There you go. So the basement part,
The lower level?
so nothing like, I know you've talked to the administration and staff at Sewell. Have they said anything about?
We went through and did some studies on the needs for admin, for this building to be located there, and we're about 14,000 square feet, and the needs here, really exceed about 20,000. It's just not going to be able to fit. But we do think there's some other opportunities we want to brainstorm. We're going to have this really, plumbed for toilets, and really to the point that really all you're going to need is, we think, just run some ductwork and put some drywall up, some metal studs and drywall. I think there's really some time just to think what we want that space to be. It really is a bonus, and doesn't have to be forced right at this point to be something. But I think it'll become apparent. Might be a good use for that space.
Okay. I was just curious if they'd kind of talked about or discussed futuristic. Okay.
And I don't know if we really want to feel like we're really pressed for fun identity. I think it's really a nice space. I'm sure a lot of districts wish they had that issue. Okay. So I think it's going to. I think it'll come about during the course of things, the course as we're completing these projects. I think a need will come up, and I think it'll really fit there very well. We'll just give it some time.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anything else? Any other questions?
He's got some more timelines, I think.
Okay.
I'd just like to have Brian come up and review the schedule with you and the budgets.
Good.
Good evening. Well, it's getting exciting. We're getting closer here. The months on the schedule are getting closer to becoming a reality. So, like Tom said, in the next week we'll have plans finalized on Will Roads, Beeson, and Lynn, and our intent is to get those out to bid here in the next as soon as they come out next week, and then should have pricing back the first part of June on those first three projects. And what that'll do is tell us a lot of things. Tell us whether our budgets are where we think they are, and also the interest in projects out here, which right now indications are interest is strong. So that's exciting, and we try to balance, kind of three things as we're looking at schedule. Obviously, district needs, design availability, and then also subcontractor availability. And so that's kind of why you see the stagger start here is taking those three things into consideration, not the least of which is price, which is driven by the subcontractor availability, which drives competition and keeps the price down. So kind of the strategy that we put together with this. This is not set in stone. I wouldn't get too tied into these dates right here. It's a general idea of where we're at right now. As we start to put packages out on the street, if we're finding that we're not getting good subcontractor participation because they're getting overloaded with some of these earlier projects, we may kind of reassess and slow down slightly. I don't see it changing drastically from what we've got here, but that's kind of the strategy on schedule. Any questions on schedule? I think the next thing we want to look at is where we're at on our control budget. And you'll see black numbers here and black text and red text. And the difference between the two is kind of where we are at in the development of the plan. So the text in black indicates schools: Dodge City High School, Beeson Elementary, Lynn, Sewell, Sunnyside, and Will Roads, that we've had plans developed to the point that are considered design development plans. They're detailed enough that we've been able to get them out to some subcontractors and get some feedback on pricing and get some confidence in the numbers. So with those, we've taken it from the 2.8 budget that we presented last time that we were here at this meeting, added the approvals that y'all have made the last couple board meetings for the additional scope to the projects as they made sense, and that resulted in the budget as 425 is reflected in this third column here. And then last Monday, we kind of updated all the pricing with the design, the drawings that we'd had through design development to come up with kind of the current cost as we see it. Again, these numbers have some subcontractor feedback, definitely on the mechanical and electrical systems. The guys that we've brought on early with that have been very helpful to give us confidence in those numbers. And then this fifth column here is kind of the difference between the 425 budget amount and where we currently see it. So on the high school, for example, we see it being $239,000 more than the budget, but that number, this delta number, does include a estimating contingency of $820,000. So we're within where we thought it would be. And if you look at a cumulative total of the projects that we have taken to the design development pricing stage, we're carrying an estimating contingency of about $700,000 still. So if that makes any sense, we're kind of right where we thought we would be with pricing, and cautiously optimistic that we'll kind of stay that way as we work through it. So, but as Bill said, this is not a GMP at this point, but it is a best estimate of where we're at. So.
Ryan, I'm really interested in the logistics of pulling these projects off, and it's going to be a major undertaking because you're in some of the major thoroughfares, especially with Central.
Right.
And I would, I don't want you to go to a lot of trouble, but I would be interested in, at some time in the future, knowing how you're going to pull this off, because you got the deliveries and the big equipment in and out is going to be really interesting.
Absolutely. No, Central's going to be a tough one for sure, and that's something we're still kind of developing as we get the 4-section school plan in there and the parking. Some of those scope items are fairly new into it, so we're working on that as we go. Definitely the acquisition of the houses to the south of that site have given us a little bit of room, but that's going to be playground as well. So there are a lot of things to consider. One thing we've talked about doing is staging some of it off-site on that particular project and bring it in. But no, we'd be happy to walk through the plans, logistics of the site laydown in a future meeting here.
Well, the 3 schools there together, it's 6th and Sewell. Wow, that's going to be quite some project too, because you got a lot of moving parts there.
We do. Got a little more opportunity there, I think, for staging than Central, but yes, there is.
Oh, absolutely, but it's still going to be a lot of people in and out of there.
You bet.
In the high schools, the traffic's already interesting.
Right.
So-
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You see,
On to-
Amy came in.
Yeah, but is she gone? Is she?
Oh, she's still back.
Oh, I can't see her because of the podium. I thought you left.
All
Yay,
right.
Amy.
So what happened was my mom told me it was still 5:30 to trick me to go to the store with her. So I'm so sorry. She just thought I was being lazy and didn't want to go to the store, so I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So some of the things that's happened in our school is, thank you. We won for 8th grade girls track, like we won at WAC. So we're the league champions, 8th grade girls at Comanche. And Wednesday, we're having a career fair, which we're all excited for. Well, the teachers are excited for, I'm guessing. But every classroom in Comanche will be full of people coming to talk to us about careers, which will be for 6th and 7th. 8th graders, we're going to get stressed out into college. So we're excited for that. The 8th grade send-off is going to be a dodgeball tournament Friday after school because, you know, we like stuff like that. Cancer Awareness Week is this week. We're going to be selling bracelets to support cancer awareness and presenting cancer facts to the students every day to help them know more about cancer. So the CMS Carnival will be at the last day of school from 8 to 11, which we're really, really excited for. And the Comanche Extravaganza is the last day of school from 1 to 3. And so we are extremely excited for all of this, and I'm going to miss you guys so much, but hopefully I will be back in high school to see
You
you.
bet. Thank you.
Amy, we have a little something that we want to give you, but thank you very much because it's been very nice that you've volunteered your time to be a part of the student council and can keep us apprised on all the activities and entertain us.
Yeah.
It's very good, and you make it lively. It's good.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
wish my
very
mom
much.
would say that, but you know.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I have a little goodie for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, Alan.
Okay. This is an exciting topic, not near as exciting as theirs, and I
no.
apologize. Bill and I and our State Board of Education representative will be heading to Topeka following this meeting this evening, so we can be a part of the oral arguments on the Schools for Fair Funding Gannon school funding case. The arguments begin at 9 o'clock in the morning before the Kansas Supreme Court, and they are also going to be shown live on the internet. I think I sent out information to you and the administrative team about where they can watch that. We don't anticipate a decision of any kind tomorrow, but we do think that a decision will be forthcoming fairly quickly. Our attorneys believe that in 1 to 3 weeks, we could have some ruling on whether or not the legislature's actions to restore some semblance of equalization aid for the poorer school districts in our state meets the court's expectations. One of the options for the court, of course, is to say the legislature did not meet its directive and therefore order the school districts to cease operation as of July 1 with the new fiscal year. We don't believe that's going to happen. We don't want that to happen. Nobody is even trying to make that happen. But it is one of the things we have to be ready for. And as a result of getting a number of questions from our own staff, as we've talked about before, we went ahead and put together a list of what ifs and what we know and what we don't know. And that information's in your board packet on page 35 and 36, actually 35 through 37. Gives a very little bit of background information on what got us to this point. Just for the public's benefit, the change in equalization aid that came along with the block grant, just the equalization aid alone has cost this district over $600,000 in funding. And then along with the block grant, we have not received any additional funds for the 150 to 180 new students we've received in the last 2 years, or for any of what used to be called waitings. You got a little extra money if a student was on free lunches because they needed additional services, or if they were bilingual, or if they were in vocational technical programs because those programs cost a little more to operate. None of those funds have been forthcoming in the last 2 school years. In order to answer as many questions as we can for those employees, parents, students, who want to know what would happen if the court does issue an order to stop spending money on Kansas public schools on July 1, put together this information. I tried to make it a just the facts type scenario and not give any political commentary. I think I accomplished that. There may be a few places that there's a little bit of political stuff, but not many. The bottom line is, as a school district, we won't know what a shutdown might mean to us until we hear what the Supreme Court's decision is. Typically, anytime there's been a shutdown, we've heard about it at the federal government level for quite a while on several different occasions. They allow you to keep open what they call essential services. But at a state level, those essential services will probably be detailed in the court's order. They could say there's no spending on anything for public education, period, shut the doors. We can't imagine that would happen because you have multi-billion dollars worth of facilities across the state that need to be maintained, need to be secured. You have technology infrastructure, information systems that, especially for some of the larger districts, if they had to shut those down, it could take up to a month just to bring them back online. For us, that would probably be a matter of a couple, 3 weeks, but for larger districts, it could take a substantial amount of time. You also have security issues that need to be addressed, just general maintenance. If you had electricity go out or you had a water line break or something like that happen, we don't anticipate that the court's going to just say, shut it down and go home. They're going to allow us to maintain some kind of essential services, but we won't know what those are until the court order's issued. So we've talked administratively and with as many staff members as we've had opportunity and put together a plan to do what we would do depending on what the court says. We've already informed our staff about the possibility, and as a result, about 260 of our teachers have requested their salaries be paid in a lump sum in June instead of getting a July check and an August check, which they're entitled to. Provision in Kansas statute is once they finish their contract in May, they can request the additional payments to be made in a lump sum rather than go June, July, and August. We usually have 40 to 60 people that request that payment, and this year we had 260 request those payments. We've emailed employees on a couple different occasions to try to answer questions. And basically, we're saying we don't know what this would mean until we hear what the court order says. But there is the possibility that as of July 1, hourly employees, administrators, teachers could be furloughed without pay. That's the worst case scenario. We don't anticipate that happening, and if it does happen, we don't anticipate it lasting very long because we believe our legislature, while they may have a difference of opinion on how to meet the mandate of the court, it's no one's desire for the public schools not to be open and ready to go in August. The things it might mean for you as a board is we may have to have some special meetings in June in order to be able to approve payments to vendors for outstanding bills, because if July 1 we're not allowed to have payroll people or business office people on staff in the office, then we can't pay vendors. We may ask you such things as to allow us to go ahead and prepay everybody who works in June. They usually don't get paid till July. We may ask you to allow us to prepay them. The problem with all of this is in cash flow. Typically, we get our money from the state. Well, we're supposed to get our money from the state in June, and we have to put it on the books in June, but we don't get it until July. We believe we have enough cash flow right now to be able to handle the people that have requested lump sum payments, and then also for anything you would want to do to prepay or pay ahead of a July payday, any people who have earned hourly wages up until the end of June. I guess until we know what that court order says, we don't know exactly how to respond, but we've identified some contingencies for doing such things as rescheduling enrollment day, rescheduling the start of school if we had to. It's, you have to plan for the worst but hope for the best. And right now, our hope is that none of this comes to pass, but we wanted to have something in place in order to answer some of your questions and the questions from some of the folks we get in the public about what's going to happen if. One of the things I'm most concerned about is because in Ford County, Dodge City, we have very low unemployment. So that means there are jobs available. May not be the job somebody wants, but if they want income, there are jobs to be had in our community. I'm seriously concerned about if the shutdown lasts very long or even happens at all, we may lose some of our hourly and classified staff, bus drivers, cooks, custodians, paraeducators, those kinds of folks who we really depend on to operate our school district. We may lose some of those folks to the other jobs in the community because they can't go without a wage very long. So that's right now the biggest thing I'm concerned about is losing some good folks. But it's our intent to do everything we can do to keep things running as close to normal as we can, and it just depends on if the Supreme Court orders the state treasurer not to issue any more school funds, then there's not a lot we can do about it. But we will do everything we can do. If that happens, we will do everything we can do in June to be sure we've paid our vendors, paid our employees as far as we can possibly go under that court order. Okay? Not good news, but we at least are planning and thinking we have a plan in place to go as far as we can go depending on what the court says. Okay? And we'll, if we get any inkling by looking at the little glimmer in the justice's eyes tomorrow, which I don't think will probably happen, we'll let you know. But I'm hoping that our attorneys are correct and say 1 to 3 weeks we'll have a decision. And that'll happen then before sine die at the legislature, before they come back. And if the court does order that they do something different, it would give the legislature a chance to do that. So I'd be glad to answer any questions or tell you more about what I don't know. Sorry.
Well, obviously, it shut the projects down.
If we have, that's another issue. The
Right.
state doesn't appear to be too concerned, this is political commentary, doesn't appear to be too concerned about its credit rating right now because it's just
Exactly.
been downgraded.
Moody's just downgraded it.
Right now, that hasn't affected us as a district because we've got a pretty good one and we've gotten good bond sales, we've got all that. If the state can't issue payments, and unless the court order says differently, that could be a casualty of this decision. As would general maintenance, as would the bus purchases, as would about anything else we're trying to spend money on to keep this operation going. And the good thing about it, or the bad thing about it, is we're only one of 286 that it will impact.
That was fitting, Brian.
That was weather.
Yes, done.
Okay, any other
Okay.
questions?
No?
Okay.
Okay, so board member district responsibilities, Park and Recreation. Barbara?
We have not had a meeting since I last reported. We have a meeting tomorrow. I did want to say that there is information online about the Long Branch Lagoon, which is opening within the next month before I would be reporting again. So will the paper have an announcement? So I think that's the best place to look for information about when they're opening. I've seen 2 different dates, so I'm not going to give out one. But if you watch the paper, you can get there when you want to, when it's open.
Okay. And Bright Beginnings, Tracy's not here, but Tammy, you have anything?
Yeah, Head Start recently has put out some things that they're wanting us to increase dosage and duration. Our school year is already long enough by their request, but they'd like us to consider all-day classrooms instead of part-day. So the grant for that will be due, I know, on June 24th. If we decide to pursue it, it would be for the 17-18 school year. I've been pretty reluctant about moving to all day because that reduces slots.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to do that. We have kids to serve, but now they're offering money. So we'll see what we can work out. We were doing kind of the crash course of planning and locations and that kind of stuff to see what we can do for 17-18 school year. So we're going to end the year with a bang.
Okay.
So will this be a new open grant or?
Well, no, it's going to attach to our current.
The current grant? Okay.
So our slots would remain the same. We would just offer all day instead, but they're only letting us do it in increments. So it's not all of our slots, it's 40% or less. So we're looking at maybe about 26% of ours now. And then they say there could be more coming, but we don't know.
I'm just not going to say something. Okay. Special education.
Barbara, do you have a update?
The meeting was held. We talked about things like they acquired a new vehicle for the orientation and mobility program. They are hiring people for fulfilling the positions that are available in special ed throughout the area. I think that's essentially it. Is there any?
I need to get Barbara a plaque for covering for me all year. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Do you have any better news to tell us?
No, I just reiterate that, Moody's did downgrade the state of Kansas to a negative, which that's, if you talk to some people in the administration, they downplay it. I don't like for a rating organization to downgrade anything. That can't be positive. And, what came out of the governor's office was we need to get education and Medicaid under control. And there was no mention of revenues. And so what it just says that the state's really has some issues. I mean, we know that, but when an outside rating organization comes in and makes any kind of movement in your rating, it is not a positive. And I'm glad our bonds are sold because it could affect the sale of any public bonds in the state of Kansas in the next few years unless that situation is rectified. It's interesting time.
Okay, and capital outlay, there's nothing on that, and calendar committee, I think Tracy already survived that. And for the June, you're going to look at Barbara's going to look at the district bills.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and for announcements, tomorrow, Dr. Allison Garrett, president of Emporia State University, will visit Dodge City High School at the invitation of Laura Woolfolk, 2016 Kansas Master Teacher from USD 443, and a luncheon in her honor is planned at the Learning Center with all current staff who are former Master Teacher recipients from Dodge City invited to attend. And also tomorrow, Bill Hammond and Alan will be attending the oral arguments in the Gannon School funding case at the Kansas Supreme Court in Topeka. And then Saturday, May 14th, 129th commencement for Dodge City High School will begin at 10:30 at the United Wireless Arena. And then Sunday, May 15th, Dodge City Adult Diploma Program graduation ceremony will begin at 2 p.m. at the Dodge City High School Auditorium. And there's no second meeting in May. Yes, is that still on? Just maybe extra in June. Okay. All right, any items other than maybe something on the building project? Is that all right?
I'm good.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Motion by Ryan, a second by Barbara. All in favor?